Want big calves, but training like this? Stop. In today's video, we're going to go through easy fixes to help you grow your calves.
The first thing I want to go through, which is probably the most important thing, is how you're defining an intense workout. Usually whenever I see someone trying to do their calves, they just think, well, it's got to be heavy. That's the only way people know how to define an intense workout. It's just how much weight am I pushing? But your range of motion is off, your tempo is off. So try dropping the ego, taking off some of the weight to something you can control, and focus on other parameters that can make an intense workout. One, being the range of motion. When working your calves, you're trying to put your calves in as much dorsiflexion and plantarflexion as possible. So the best cues I like to give is if you're on the machine, you're trying to think of pushing your heels down till you feel the stretch in your calf. You might even feel a slight contraction in your shin. And this should be a fully stretched calf. And then when you're driving up, don't just think up, but actually think about driving your ankles forward as much as you can. You're going to notice you're going to get a much better contraction by thinking ankles forward versus just pushing up. And I would always recommend doing this is your warm-up so you know what your range of motion is. And then I don't care how much weight you put on, stay within that range of motion. Know that you're going all the way down, all the way up. And I also say really focus on that lengthening position and record yourself. I say this all the time. I don't care if you're training by yourself, with a partner, with a trainer. Record yourself so you see what you're doing. In your mind, you might think you're going full range of motion until you look back at the tape and you're just bouncing up and down, which goes to our next point, tempo. Don't bounce up and down. You want to feel slow on the eccentric, that you coming down, resisting gravity, so you know the muscles resisting gravity and it's not just weight pushing you down. And then you want a controlled contraction, then power up to squeeze the muscle. Tempo is going to be really important because you want to know your muscles is doing the work. You're in control of what you're doing. There are some people that get into like toe positions or toe in, toe out. Honestly, that shouldn't matter to you. Have the balls of your heels on the machine, heel down, ankle forward. The other thing you would also want to look at is exercise selection. Not every calf machine is the same. When you're thinking of your calf muscles, you're thinking of your soleus and your gastro. Soleus is more of the side part of your calf. Your gastro is that big meaty part. So when you're doing a seated calf raises, you're hitting more of those soleus, which is, again, very important. I'm not saying neglect it entirely, but if you're trying to grow your calves, you want those gastro. That's the volume. That's the biggest part of your calf. So that's the part you really want to focus on. I think the best way to do that is being in a standing position. So any calf raise machine or any calf raise exercise where you can be sending and your knees aren't bent and you can actually get the muscle that runs right up through the calf, that's going to be the workout I would say to prioritize. The other thing you would want to look into is then just the frequency. I think calves is one of those things you can definitely hit twice a week. Some people can hit it more. I say it always just comes down to your recovery. I've seen too often just body parts in general where people think, well, I'm just going to do arms every day, and then they end up hurting themselves or not getting your results. Your results come from your recovery. Train intense, stimulate the growth, and then during that recovery process is where your muscle actually grows based on the stimulus you gave it. If you never give it proper time to recover, at worst, you can injure yourself, or at least you're not going to get the results because it never had time to recover, to adapt to the loads you kept giving it. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one. And hopefully your calves will be a little bigger by then too.